Paul Heatley, thank you very much for joining Cruise TV. We're honoured to be joined by the man of the hour. What a performance.
Oh, yeah, it was a fantastic team performance. I think there was probably maybe 4 or 5 man of the hours there. So delighted to hit the back of the net for the team, not even individually, and to put in such a strong performance, especially the second half, is uplifting for the team, and hopefully it's a stepping stone in the right direction for us.
In some ways, if you knew the outcome of the scoreline, it was Glenavon scoring first, maybe just give you that wee rocket that you just needed to get you going.
Yeah, I think that's been a bit of a trait with us this season. Slow start at the beginning of the first and second half, normally speaking, in this season. So it was important that we tried to put that right. Unfortunately, that trait showed itself again in the first 5 minutes, but we reacted really well. We stayed focused. We didn't go direct, which was quite important. We kept our composure on the ball, and to be honest, after maybe 15-20 minutes, we were very confident we would go on and win the game very well.
There's a lot being talked about this week, Paul, just with this game. Obviously, the penultimate game before the split, and it was important to get the 3 points first and foremost. Was preparation different this week, or mindset any different in any way?
No, I don't think so. I think you prepare correctly for every single game. Just unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't pan out the way it's meant to. But we were fully focused this week, as we are always, and thankfully everything just fell into place today. Poor start, but after 10 or 15 minutes, I think the quality just outshone the opposition today, and we took our chances really well. We defended superbly. The whole back line were so solid and strong. Don't really recall too many chances they had for Sean to save. So overall, every aspect of the game we'll be delighted with today after the first 5.
And personally, it was important to get back on the score sheet. It was a bit of a replica, 2 goals, very similar in some ways. Talk us through that third, that chance, Paul, that fell to you.
I think that's a no comment one, is it? Yeah. Unfortunately, just sometimes they don't go in. I'll put it down to being a wee bit dazed, as you said earlier in the game. A wee bit of a collision there. Didn't know quite where it was, but look here, I'll take the 2 and move on. And I think Jamie getting 2, and obviously LOWRY continuing with his goal scoring form is great. And everyone's starting to chip in, so it's really important, especially the forward line. Ross Clarke getting on the score sheet gives a great load of confidence really for the individuals attacking, and as I say, hopefully it's a really good stepping stone in the right direction.
I wanted to ask you, Paul, just about, obviously we've seen 20 minutes of Gary Thompson coming back from injury, and Stephen is opted to throw him into the mix tonight. How important is he for this Crusaders side? Because he looked to give whatever he gives 70 minutes, and he was exceptional. Yeah,
that's Gary Oliver. Gary will give 100%, whether he's only 20% fit, 10% fit, it doesn't matter. Gary will step onto the plate and do his job superbly as always. Fantastic engine on him, great ability and composure on the ball, and it showed today. He really was disciplined in the midfield. Him and LOWRY worked superb, and they outshone the opposition again. Dominated the possession, and I think just start to finish we were fantastic today, from the back line right through. So real big positives today. Delighted performance with some really great individual ones. So good stepping stone.
They're all important games coming up, Paul, but no more, I guess, than Dungannon away next Saturday. How important now is that game just for the quest of to finish in that top 6 and then look beyond that and try and climb the table?
Yeah, look, people talk about the split. It's vital that we're in the top half, just for ourselves, not for anyone else. But people might forget that there's another 5 games after the split as well. So it's important to build momentum, focus on the performance both individually and collectively as a team here, and start getting the ball rolling with really big performances, week in, week out. And hopefully, as I say, we'll take today's performance going into next week. A few things to put right down at Dungannon, so that'll be a wee bit of extra motivation for us, and fingers crossed we'll do the job.
Paul, thank you very much for joining us. I thought you were absolutely exceptional tonight. I think when the first goal went in, it seen a new lease of confidence with you as well, and something we'd love to see more of. I know you were quite critical of your own performance when we met a few weeks ago, but I think tonight's just a gentle reminder to everybody else in the league that Paul Heatley's still here, and he's going to be here for a long period of time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. Stephen Baxter, thank you very much for joining us. You must be very pleased with our performance and result tonight.
Yeah, I am pleased with it. I feel in the last 6-7 games that from the Glentoran game, really, where we lost in the last kick of the ball, I felt there's been a much fresher look about us. We've been hungry to the ball, we've passed it great. The team have been really, really motivated and doing really well. I've been really excited about what we're doing in all the games of recent days. So there was signs in the Glentoran game, let's say, and then we went on this little bit of a run that sort of motivated us. The 5 games undefeated now, and I think we capped that off tonight with a really fine display. And when the opposition manager tells you that it should have been 10 or 11 at the end of the game, you sort of know you've played pretty well. And I thought some of the performances that we gave tonight was outstanding. Jareth O'Rourke and Billy Joe Burns, particularly in the back four, were outstanding. And I thought Gary Thompson coming back in the team gave us a real good solid look about us. And Adam Leckie gives you a performance that anybody would pay in to watch, because he was magnificent tonight. And everything that flowed through him, we got the runners off him, and the players that have got that wee bit of pace and quality up front put their shooting boots on tonight, which was great. So it sometimes takes players a wee time just to settle into, Adam's first season here and one or two others, and they're just finding their feet in certain ways, and certain players have been not at their best or injured this season, and it's just not clicked as well as we would have liked. But it takes time sometimes to get them where you want them to be. But I said to them afterwards, if you play like that, you'll win more than you lose.
We've spoke a lot probably during the last few weeks about the top six, and tonight was probably a wee bit of added pressure to win the game because of that reason, and obviously penultimate game before the split. Was preparation different, Stephen, or mindsets different, or was it same preparation, just go out and you knew the team was capable of putting in a performance like that?
There was no real change in what we've been doing. Really you're asking players to keep playing to the rhythm and to the quality of what they've been doing in the last few weeks. We knew it was a very, very big game. We knew Glenavon had been on a really brilliant run. We had probably practiced this week a lot. We'd mirrored what they've been doing, because we watch a lot on video and the games that they play and their style of play. And we knew that they would just pump balls into the box for two big strikers, and even the two wide players, they nearly filled four into the box, and we knew that ball would come in direct, hard against us, and we practiced to make sure we were able to cope and deal with that ball. And after 5 minutes they score, and I'm going, well, we haven't dealt with it particularly well. But I think that was maybe the only opportunity they had in the game. I think Sean was pretty much a spectator for the rest of it, and that pleases me.
In some ways, was that a bit of a wake-up call for the team? I know that first goal went in, and as a manager, you're looking plenty of time left on the clock. Obviously, the game had not long kicked off, but it seemed to be a wee wake-up call maybe for the team to just.
Well, as I say, when you're defending a ball, it's if an opposition have the ball and then they're pumping that ball in on top of your head. Ultimately you have to back up and defend it, because where it's landing, coming in 100 yards, you've got to go back onto the edge of that box and head it out of there. And we give teams torrid times for 10 years with certain Jordan Owens with that ball and players playing off it. So you know what you're going to get, and we had to dig deep, and that 5 minute spell was they were throwing their best punch like a boxer coming out of the ring and just throwing everything at you, and we had to deal with it, and they scored a good goal. It was a great strike from the lad, but we settled into the game really well. There was no panic from us. We passed it great. The first goal was a lovely goal to watch, the way we passed it, half a dozen passes to work the angle and get in to score the goal. And we got in then time and number after it, with that bit of pace, and we hurt their two centre halves with ball in behind and worked them really hard tonight. And I think when you go in that many times to score, you'll be pleased with it.
I know you touched on Adam Leckie, and we happen to agree. I know everybody who watched the game would see his masterclass tonight, but I wanted to touch base on the Paul Heatley, Ross Clarke, Jamie McGonigle, obviously all within the mix of goals tonight. You're seeing that every week in training. And how important are those quick players for this Crusaders side?
Well, pace frightens every team. Pace off your flanks, pace through the middle. We made that decision to put Jamie right up top, because he's been playing a lot off the flank, and whenever you're dealing with opposition teams that come to you, and Glentoran, Larne, Linfield, teams of that magnitude who play that shape, the 4-3-3 shape. You sometimes have to adapt to that, and it sometimes doesn't allow you to play a certain shape. So we just felt where we were. We'd lost a few games of football. We just felt it was the right time to do something different, and ultimately popping Jamie up and through the centre forward position has worked. He's got a little bit more life about him. He looks lively up there, and now all of a sudden he's scoring a couple of goals, and that's what it's all about for a centre forward. You need to be scoring goals.
What does that do for their confidence, Stephen? Obviously him and Paul Heatley, I made reference when we interviewed Paul Heatley a minute ago, when he got the first goal, it just seemed like a new lease of life. He had a wee bit of spring in his step. What does goals do for those centre forwards?
Well, I played that position my whole life long, and when you go through a spell that Jamie was going through a little spell where he get in a Carrick and really needs to, he should really wreck that one, and he pulls it into the ground and misses it. It's like a golfer, miss hitting his golf shot, and he's done the same tonight. He gets in and he you would put your house on Jamie McGonigle 10 times out of 10 scoring that goal, and he misses a simple sitter. He then goes through on a second one, and I thought it was an easier chance. He misses that one also, and then that goes right into your head as a forward. Once the next ball comes over and you're one-on-one with a goalkeeper, and you're saying, am I ever going to get this ball in the back of the net? It's that split second of nearly like a nervous thing that hits you when you have to execute, and so for forwards that can sometimes be difficult. But the thing that we continue to work hard with Jamie and the others is that you've got to keep them back in there, because that's what forwards do. And I don't mind if they miss 10 chances, because they'll always go in and score one. And when they get the one, they'll then. And the lovely thing was that Jamie goes in and scores his trademark goal when he cuts in on that right foot and whips it in the top corner. And the confidence levels, and you could see the energy running through him when he scored it, and his performance was super tonight. And because you miss a couple of big chances, he doesn't give up. He goes in and scores the big goal, and his confidence lifted tremendously well, and as did Heatley as well, which was superb. His second goal, the manner in which he took it under control, went through. His disappointment will be not getting his hat trick, of course, which looked like an easier chance to score. So all in all, it's a good night for the forwards, good night for the team. But look, it's only one game of football. We've another massive game to go at Dungannon to try and secure top 6, and it's important that we prepare well for it. So whilst we'll enjoy tonight and we'll enjoy the weekend, it'll all be back to business on Monday, trying to get the team ready to play at Stangmore Park next Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, Stephen, thank you very much for joining us. Thought the team were absolutely exceptional tonight. It was a real joy to watch in every aspect. Defensively, the midfield too worked incredibly hard, and as we've touched on, the striker. So thank you very much. We hope you have a great weekend.
Well, it's a total pleasure, and can I just say thank you to all of you guys for the hard work and effort you're putting in through lockdown and bringing all this stuff to the fans, and I hope the fans are enjoying some of the stuff that we're trying to do and on the social media end of things. It's good to try and lift the whole profile of it, because we missed them dreadfully, and we're really looking forward to seeing them back as soon as we possibly can. So hopefully they've enjoyed tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Stephen.